If you're anything like me, you don't want a robot vacuum that just sounds impressive on paper. You want something that actually shows up on the floor, handles the daily messes, and does it without demanding a PhD in tech support. You want a device that's reliable enough to run while you're at work, easy enough to live with when you're home, and worth the money you spend, not just a list of flashy specs. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at robot vacuums for my 2-story house, the biggest hesitation was the fear of buying a gadget that would either miss spots or become a chore in itself. I spent a weekend reading forums, watching unboxing videos, and scrolling through the Q&A sections of several listings. The recurring theme was the same: people love the convenience, but they get frustrated when the machine can't navigate a narrow hallway, leaves a wet streak after mopping, or needs constant tinkering with its dock. The roborock Saros Z70 landed on my radar because it promises a mechanical arm that actually lifts and moves obstacles, a strong suction rating, and a hot water mop that claims to go deeper than a typical spray mop. I decided to put those claims through the motions of a typical family routine and see if the hype translates into real-world value. Setup was the first practical hurdle. The box includes a 10-in-1 multifunction dock that's larger than the robot itself, which means you need a dedicated spot, usually near a power outlet and away from high traffic. Unpacking the dock felt a bit like assembling a small piece of furniture. The instructions are clear, but you have to attach the water tank, the mop cartridge, and the dustbin before the robot even sees the floor. Once that's done, you place the robot on the dock, press the power button, and wait for it to calibrate. The calibration takes about 5 minutes, during which the unit does a slow spin and maps the immediate area. In my experience, that initial map is surprisingly accurate for a home with a mix of hardwood, low-pile carpet, and a kitchen tile floor. The first day I let the Z70 run on a cleanup schedule, I spilled a cup of coffee on the kitchen island. The robot detected the wet spot within seconds, switched from vacuum mode to its hot water mop cycle, and started a gentle pass over the mess. The mop cloths, 4 of them are included, absorb the liquid without leaving a streak, and the hot water helps break down the coffee oils. By the time the robot finished its pass, the surface was dry and the stain was gone. That's a concrete example of the hot water mopping claim delivering a benefit you can see without lifting a rag. For pet owners, the suction power matters. The Z70 boasts 22,000 pascal suction, which translates into a noticeable ability to pull up cat hair from both carpet and hardwood. I placed a few loose hair clumps in a high-traffic hallway and let the robot run its intelligent multi-pass routine. The first pass lifts most of the hair, while a second, slower pass ensures the finer strands are captured. The dustbin fills up quickly with pet hair, but that's expected with any high-suction unit. The real advantage is that the bin is easy to detach and empty without touching the debris directly, just a simple pull-out and shake. Navigation is another area where many robot vacuums stumble, especially in homes with furniture legs and low-lying shelves. The Saros Z70 uses a 3D StarSight navigation system that projects a laser grid across the room, building a detailed map in real time. In my home, the robot smoothly weaved around a dining table with 4 legs, a low bookshelf, and a decorative rug that has a slightly raised edge. The mechanical arm, which the brand calls OmniGrip, actually lifts small objects like a stray sock or a toy block that would normally cause a robot to get stuck. I tested this by leaving a small Lego piece in the middle of a hallway. The robot approached, the arm extended, nudged the piece aside, and continued without pausing. It's a subtle but genuine improvement over models that simply spin in place when they encounter an obstacle. Now, the strengths are clear: strong suction for pet hair, hot water mop that can handle real spills, sophisticated navigation that reduces missed spots, and an arm that actually moves small items. The dock's 10-in-1 functionality also means you don't need separate stations for charging, water refilling, or cleaning the mop cloths. Everything is housed in one unit, which saves counter space in the long run. However, the Z70 isn't without its trade-offs. The dock size, while convenient, can be a drawback in smaller apartments where wall space is premium. You need at least a 2-foot clearance in front of the dock for the robot to exit and re-enter smoothly. The mop cloths, though included, are relatively thin, After a few hot water cycles they start to fray, and you'll likely need to replace them more often than you would a standard microfiber pad. The water tank holds.